games if they got there. Oh well.
There's always next year.
That's what we say for 30 years plus. All right, here we go.
Yeah, we straight chillin', serial killing, pre-cold villains on the mind, got you reeling. 5-star rated from the floor to the ceiling. If you catch a 1-star, no time for feelings. Got a demon DJ on the ones and twos, by the name Beelzebub, so don't get confused. So grab a seat by the fire, roast them all over two, and prepare to hear the legend of the straight chillin' crew.
What up, nerds, and welcome to another enlightened episode of Straight Chilling, the weekly horror movie review show where you chill and we kill, slice, dice, and chop up yet another horror movie. My name is Bob. I'll be your host for the evening. This is episode 457, recorded Sunday, January 7th, 2024. Tonight we're talking about a brand new Patreon pick. This was chosen by Miles B. The movie is Human Lanterns from 1982. Before we get into it, let me introduce everyone else on the show. First up, calling in from Washington, D.C., we got your boy Randeezy. What's up, man?
Hey, buddy, how you doing? You guys ready to get the giggles today?
Oh, man, these characters just be laughing. Just laughing.
Oh my God, they are just rip roaring fun. These guys, they just love to have a good laugh. It's just endless.
This movie's a laugh riot. Just you wait. Next up, calling in from my left, you got your boy Soju. What's up, man?
Oh, ni hao, boys. It's your boy Shifu Stains.
Well, you sound like you're about to weep.
Oh, boys. Boys didn't know I spoke Chinese, did you?
Is Chinese
fluently.
English but wavering?
Shifu Stains.
Oh, boy.
I'm speaking Chinese right now.
We might have the giggles today, boys. Those laughs get me pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
Hell yeah.
Love it.
Last but not least, returning to Straight Chilling, everybody, welcome back our good friend Matt. What's up, man?
How y'all doing? I feel like I was just here.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
I know, but now I'm
Yeah,
here with
buddy.
you. That makes it all the much
A whole
better.
better.
There's more meat in
yeah.
this room now.
And tons of meat. We're packing it in.
Tons of meat.
Packing in the meat. Boy, wish I were there.
Same, Randy. There's a lot of sword fighting in this here movie, and Matt, you know a few things about some sword fighting. You want to tell all the listeners where they can learn how to sword fight?
Yeah, I run a martial arts school here in Jacksonville, Florida. It's called Bold City Longsword. We fence historical German longsword fencing, and we also do Italian rapier, and we do the I-33 sword and buckler system. And then I have a podcast called Swords in Stereo, where we talk about sword fighting and we make a lot of off-color jokes.
Hell yeah.
Now, Matt, let me just ask you. I'm pretty sure that cultural Hong Kong fighting styles are very, very similar to what you teach, right?
So,
the German style.
In the real world, they're not too dissimilar.
Whoa, okay.
In this movie, however, it's a little different.
All right.
There's no high wire flying through the air.
Well, I was trying to be sassy. I thought that they would be
Yeah,
very
well,
different.
you sassed yourself into a corner, didn't you?
I did. I sassed myself right into the truth.
Oh no.
Oh, damn.
That'll happen.
Okay.
Man.
That'll happen.
Yeah.
You doing any
Awesome.
Ren fairs here, Matt? I know there's some coming up.
There's one in Gainesville called Hogtown. They went from 3 weekends to 1 weekend this year, so I don't know.
Oh, really?
I don't know, but I'm gonna try. Definitely.
All right. Well, good luck.
Well, thank you.
Godspeed. Before we get into the main event, let's tackle just a little bit of housekeeping real quick. Here is another reminder. Our February poll is currently posted on our Patreon website. If you support us at the $5 level or above, you get a chance to vote on a movie we're talking about this February. The theme is Mad Romance, and the 3 movies you're voting between are From Beyond, Spring and Byzantium.
Whoa, Bob, how those numbers looking?
Whoa.
Whoa, Bob.
You speaking Japanese again?
I'm speaking Chinese. Can you understand me? Oh,
Oh man.
I
from-
sound like Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
you're morphing into Mickey.
The famous Chinese character Mickey Mouse.
Yes. Hmm.
Hey, you know what? He's public domain
He's-
now.
he-
so
he's
everyone's
ours.
character now.
Anybody can have him. We have him now. From Beyond has 67% of the vote, and Spring and Byzantium are tied, both with 17% of the vote.
Okay, so numbers have shifted
Damn.
a scotch since
Yeah.
last week.
Still pretty decisive so far.
Yeah. Yeah, get those votes in before the end of January. We'll see what movie we're talking about this February. In other Patreon news, we're dropping a mini cast every other Friday, per usual. Last Friday, the 5th, I dropped one talking about Death Rider and the House of Vampires, that new Glenn Danzig hotness, his sophomore film. And you'll just have to check out our Patreon to see what I thought about it. Maybe it's the best movie I've ever seen.
I believe that's true.
Probably.
I promise.
Probably is. I promised that, actually.
I promise
I
that
have
that's
now
possible. I
promised.
think that. A politician, Bob is.
Yeah, that's like 4 layers of DEFCON there.
I don't recall what I said on that minicast.
Mm.
I
Yeah,
just blacked out.
That's me on every episode.
talking
in
about
fairness.
Danzig.
I don't know. I said words. I don't know what they were. Check that out over on our Patreon website. Also, in Patreon news, we got a brand new Patreon supporter. We got to give mad shouts outs to. Big thanks to Gareth H for signing up and showing us some love. Every dollar you guys contribute goes right back into the show and is tradition around these here parts. We owe you the straight chilling salute. This goes out to Gareth H.
Oh, God, slap me in the ass.
Oh, Gareth.
Right in the ass.
Right
Thank
in
you.
that ass. Thank you.
Spank that new year right in. Appreciate it. That's pretty much all we got going on for Patreon. You guys have anything you need to plug?
Oh, my house is a scotch filthy. For the first feature of 2024, it's going to go to Shiboy Soju. I had the so by the time this episode comes out, it will already be out, and you can hear me and Caitlin over at Plug It Up talk about only lovers left alive. Is that the
Yep.
That's the title.
That's
Nailed
the
it.
name
Yeah,
of the
that's
movie
the
you
name.
discussed.
Which is a kind of sexy vampire film, but not in the kind of standard ways. It's a little different.
Don't touch that dial. You need to hear this.
But yeah, I like that movie quite a lot. It was the first watch for me, and I think we had a really good discussion about it. We both watched it for the first time, so we were unwrapping it together. It was good. Yeah, good discussion.
Cool.
Check that out.
Check it out. Randy, you got anything?
Not a goddamn thing. I think this house is clean unless
I
you
got-
got something, Bobby.
I got one more thing. Everybody wait. We got another episode of Let's Get Physical Media. It will have just dropped at the time of you listening to this show. Mikey and I are talking about our top 10 releases of 2023. So if you're into collecting Blu-rays, 4Ks, DVDs, and things of that nature, check out Let's Get Physical Media everywhere you get your podcasts.
Wow, that must have been so hard to whittle it down just to 10.
Dude, there's so much shit that came out last year. It's insane. It's fucking insane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They're doing it to you, Bob.
it is insane. I agree. It's insane.
It's an act of aggression against you.
Doing it to me. And
Bob and I
like
share
it.
the same feelings on that. Insanity.
Yeah, guilty as charged. Check that out everywhere you get your podcast. That's it. My house is clean.
This house is clean.
Oh, boys, it's time to get into the main event. We are talking about Human Lanterns, and we're kicking it off with the back of the box.
What's on the back of the box?
Ooh, boys. The back of the old box. I do have the box, Juice. I know you
Bob,
have.
let me see that box.
There you go. Put your hands on it.
Whoa.
That's a pretty good looking box.
You
I'm
like
not gonna
that?
lie. And it's got Yabos on the front.
Plus,
Who
a
released
half
this
star.
edition?
Well, no.
What-
Given the situation, not half star, but
88 films, I think. What's on the spine there, Juice? What's that say? On the spine?
what are you looking for?
The company that put it out.
Oh,
It should be at the top, I
I
think.
cannot read that.
What do you think?
Wow, I asked a really hard question, I guess.
Yeah, it's 88 films, but
Oh,
it's at the
okay,
bottom.
cool.
Oh, okay, you said at the top.
I don't know who that is, so it ultimately meant nothing.
It said Shaw Brothers at the top. which is the production company that made this movie back in 1982. So yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the first Hong Kong movie we've ever discussed on the show. The Shaw Brothers Company is famously known for putting out martial art movies. They produce like well over 1,000 movies in their heyday.
Whoa.
And in the 80s, they started sprinkling in some of this horror stuff. And Miles has been kind enough to let us talk about this movie, which is definitely something different for us.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So thanks for the pick, Miles. Yeah, this came out in 1982, runtime of 1 hour and 39 minutes. This was directed by Chung Sung, stars Tony Liu, Quan Tai Chin, Lilo, and some other folks. I think I did not fuck those up too bad, I don't think.
All right.
Plot synopsis.
We're in no position to tell
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Maybe you did.
Maybe I did. That's fair. Plot synopsis brought to you by the back of the box is as follows. Amidst a long-held rivalry between two distinguished gentlemen is an unbalanced and aggrieved craftsman of lanterns who seeks bloody retribution. James. That's a good line. Gentlemen, had you seen this movie before, and would you recommend people check it out? Matt, why don't you kick us off, man?
No, this not only have I not seen this movie before, this was my first 80s action kung fu movie I've ever seen.
Ooh.
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect going in, and it was kind of nice.
Right on. Is that a recommendation?
Yeah, go. Yeah, I would
Do
say
it.
at least watch it, see if you like it. You know, you can always back out. Yeah,
You can always pull
You're an
out,
adult.
says
Make
Matt.
your own
Get outta
fucking
here.
decisions.
There's always the option to pull out, says Matt. Juice, what about you?
Yeah, this is definitely a first watch for me, and honestly, might be the same as Matt. I wasn't ever into kung fu. I maybe have seen another kung fu movie, but nothing that comes to mind. It feels weird to say that, but it might be true. I don't know. Maybe I've never seen a kung fu movie before. And so yeah, definitely a first time watch for me. It's on YouTube. The whole thing is on YouTube with Yabos and all. So yeah, pretty low commitment. I thought it was pretty fun, very interesting. I really appreciate Miles picking this for us. You know, heading into our 10th year, this is something fresh, something new.
Yeah.
So it was cool to see just through that lens of like, holy shit, haven't ever seen anything like this before. So yeah, I give like a loose recommend. I don't think it's going to be for everybody, but I had a fun time watching it. Bob,
Cool.
how about you? Would you recommend people check this out?
Yeah, I'm on the same page pretty much. Yeah, first time watch for me as well. Definitely something different. Was never bored, that's for sure. So if you're into like action movies, and I assume you're into horror movies if you're listening to this show, I think you'll find something to like about this. Yeah, I've never seen any like Hong Kong martial arts movies, but I think I'm sure we all have seen like stuff with like Jet Li and like Jackie Chan and
Yeah, okay,
American
that's fair.
productions with stuff like that in it, but nothing quite like this. So Ray and Deezy, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, we're all going in this very ignorant because I
Yeah.
have never seen a Shaw Brothers production. I'm in the same boat as Juice, where I'm not sure I've ever seen another kung fu movie that was made before 1995, say. The ones I have seen are the Jet Li's, the Jackie Chan's, and then maybe like a Kung Fu Hustle in there or some shit like that. So things that are, well entrenched into the genre and then subverting it in some way. So yeah, big first time watch for me. I enjoyed it okay. I feel like this is another one of those movies that would have benefited from having some of your boys around or somebody, to watch with. Beck was not watching this with me. That was not going to happen.
What?
I watched this on my lonesome, and I will say that it's a kind of light recommend for me. I don't know that it's hard to say based on one fucking movie, but it just may not be a genre for me. That's to be seen. But as far as my experience with this is that I was maybe a little bit bored at times, and we can get into it a little more later. So it's a light recommend, though.
All right. Now, mostly a recommendation from the Straight Chilling crew, but not overall, not a home run per
No,
se.
that's true.
Cool. All right. So yeah, check it out if you would like. We are gonna spoil the shit out of this movie, and here comes your warning.
Spoiler warning.
Bob.
Uh,
Oh, Lord.
Hi.
Do you have that plot synopsis?
Hey, yeah, I got it.
Good.
I got it right here.
This is gonna be great.
It's
Gonna need to remind me of everyone's name
yeah,
before we discuss it.
dude, same. I had
Weird
a
guy.
No pronouns in this
uh,
conversation, please. Just use names only so we can be sure we're keeping track.
deal. It's relatively short. There's not, it's a pretty straight and narrow plot, but here it goes.
Yes.
So, Master and Lady Lung are invited over to Master Tan's banquet, where he shows off his fancy new lantern. Lung is not impressed and says he will surely lose in the upcoming Lantern Festival. Tan then provides a grand entrance to Yin Chu, who is a prostitute Lung has history with. Lung is shamed by this since he's with his wife. Lung then leaves the party and goes straight over to Lantern Street, where he finds Chun Fang, an expert lantern maker. He hires him to make a lantern that'll be sure to win the Lantern Festival. Chun Fang agrees despite the scar left on his forehead by Lung in a fight they had several years earlier. He's definitely not salty about that, by the way. The two celebrate the deal by going to a brothel. Yin Chu is there and asks Lung if he will take her as his concubine. He says absolutely not, and she says, well, Master Tan will. He doesn't like that much at all. Chun Fang then kidnaps Yin Chu and skins her alive for his lantern project. The constable suspects Lung is behind the kidnapping and keeps an eye on him. Chun Fang then kidnaps Tan's sister and skins her alive as well. Lung and Tan have a wild fight in a restaurant. Lung catches Chun Fang in his house but lets him go. An assassin then runs into Chun Fang and tells him he's been hired by Tan to kill Lung. The assassin breaks into Lung's house and they fight. Meanwhile, Chun Fang also breaks in and kidnaps Lady Lung. The assassin goes to see Tan and they fight. Tan kills him so nobody will find out that he hired the assassin to begin with. Tan's cronies go to bury the assassin, but Chun Fang intercepts him and chops off the assassin's head. 6 severed heads are then found hanging in the town square. Lung goes to see Chun Fang, who tells him Tan hired the assassin. Lung then goes over to Tan. They end up fighting. Chun Fang shows up and fights them both. They then realize they've been duped by him. Chun Fang explains to Lady Lung he holds a grudge against Lung because of the scar he gave him, which kept him from moving up in the martial arts world. He then skins her alive. Lung realizes Chun Fang is behind the kidnapping and he's been making human lanterns. He then discovers the hidden basement layer as well as the corpse of his wife. Chun Fang and Lung fight. Then Tan and the constable show up. Chun Fang confesses to them, and then they all fight. The house collapses and Chun Fang and Lung catch fire. Cut to Lung sitting in his house covered in burn scars. He tells the constable to distribute his wealth amongst the poor because he's going to explore the seas in search of spiritual enlightenment. Roll credits.
Yeah.
There you go.
That synopsis read like the lyrics to Particle Man by They Might Be Giants. These guys fight, this guy wins,
Yep.
then this guy fights, and this
Yep.
guy wins.
It's just a bunch of fight sequences, mostly in this movie. Yeah.
You did leave out a very important detail.
Enlighten us.
The constable's name is Sergeant Poon. And I
Sergeant
laughed
Poon,
my ass
man.
off every time them subtitles came on.
Constable.
Speaking of
Poon.
the subtitles, I don't know, like the edition I watched, I don't know if it's the same on YouTube or whatever, but I watched it on Amazon Prime, and it was man, it was translated clearly by somebody for whom English was not a first language, because it was like really roundabout phrasing that made even simple concepts hard to understand. So I had a hard time with that personally.
Oh, I think
You guys.
YouTube was okay. From what
Yeah,
I
it was-
didn't have any problems.
At least certainly at the beginning I was having some trouble. I was like, wait, what does he say? Oh, it's okay. So all right. Like when I was
But
trying to
I mean,
establish
I
characters and
speak
who does
fluent
what.
Chinese, so
There was
Oh yeah, I know. Go ahead and give us a line there.
nah.
There is one thing
Oh,
that
man.
Chun Fang said a couple times that was like phrased in a weird way, and I sort of interpreted. I can't remember how it was phrased in the subtitle, but I interpreted it as him being unable to like move up in the martial arts world because he had this big gnarly scar on his face. I'm not 100% sure I interpreted that right, but that's what the essence of what I took from it.
Oh yeah, I just thought he was like also publicly shamed.
Could be that too. Yeah.
Because he said I've had trouble, yeah, like finding love or
Yeah.
lost
I mean, the
love.
scar's not that bad. you
It
know,
looked like someone chewed up a Tootsie Roll and then just
Right.
That's what they
It
did.
looks like putty on his forehead.
It does. That's what it was. But so
This is
I will say
great.
I really enjoyed the settings of this film.
Mhm.
Just the set pieces alone, just everywhere they went, the different, I guess most of it it's like different homes and stuff like that. But Sometimes they have these little waterfalls in their gardens,
Yeah.
and even the way the street looks, and then they fight in the restaurant, and everything just looks really cool. It was just
I totally agree
aesthetically
with that.
pleasing, yeah, the whole time.
Yeah,
The
I came
restaurant
in.
looked awesome. Like I love that restaurant scene.
I came into these movies with like the preconceived notion that these movies were made on the cheap. And then I was also very surprised how good everything looked. Like the villain's Batcave looked pretty fucking cool.
did, yeah.
All the towns, the streets, all the costumes. Like if they were making them on the cheap, I guess they just keep recycling these for every
I think that's
movie.
what it is.
Probably, yeah.
It's like that town. Like there's like western towns in California explicitly for shooting that you'll see in a dozen movies that are like fully formed towns, so you can get all kinds of angles on it. I've got to think that a production company as big and prolific as Shaw Brothers, based on their reputation, probably had a few of those, and I'm guessing you would see a few of these locations in a few different pieces, but
That's
few
a
different
good
movies
point.
rather.
Yeah.
I like the cinematography quite a bit in addition to that. So you've got these beautiful sets, and the way they're lit has this. It reminded me a bit of like Giallo, like Argento movies with these like bright reds and blues. And it's also got a very like kind of soft hue, like a softer focus to it. So it gives it this sort of like dreamlike quality that I thought was just kind of beautiful. It made it feel like almost painterly in a way because it was kind of hazy. I really liked that. I don't know if it did anything for y'all.
It also
No,
seemed to switch tones. Like when they did the horror movie stuff, it got
yeah.
darker and more blue. And then when they switched over to the fight scenes and the random talking in town, it was very bright and lit up and white. And I preferred the look of the horror movie stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Totally.
So
No, yeah, I mean,
there
Go
was
ahead.
this one Korean film that I've seen that reminded me of it, and I wanted to see when it was released. It was 1974, so around the same time you can see the poster kind of that retro style. But it had it's the only thing that I've seen that kind of looked like that. It's got very different kind of concept, but it had a very similar like hazy dreamlike kind of look to it, and so maybe that's just kind of the style at the
Yeah,
time.
could be, yeah.
But yeah, I agree. It was very exciting. I don't know, it was just something felt fresh,
Yeah.
felt different. Yeah.
It also kind of like it would pulled on my nostalgia because like lots of movies from the 70s here had that soft palette and
Yeah.
didn't have that crisp camera. And like it just as a kid, that's all you saw. So it would just immediately took me back to like being a young person going, oh shit, they're killing each other. Wow, look, he jumped up a thing. Wow. Like
Wow.
It does have it does have that element of excitement that you got from practical effects, and like, how do they do that? Oh wow. Even if sometimes the blood looks goofy coming out of people's mouths, maybe specifically it's very bright and stuff, but it did have that kind of excitement of like old school movie feel. Yeah.
The wire work and
There's-
stuff is really fucking cool.
Yeah.
See,
in this movie.
that's something that like I've never even seen Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, but that is like the one cultural reference I have for that style of fight choreography or stunt choreography. That's not something that I'm used to seeing, and I honest to God thought that was either an invention of or some like that Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon like popularized that. Certainly it seems like that's the case, but I thought they might have invented it. I didn't know this was a time honored way of shooting this sort of thing. That was entirely news to me. But I like that stuff, but I really like the stuff where the camera work in terms of like the editing, in terms of like like when you're in the horror scenes and you have like masked what's his name, Chung Fang,
Chun Fang, yeah.
running around and doing his little cackle or whatever, and he's hopping and it's like zoom out, like those sort of fucking things. I love that sort of thing because it's really, it's just hard to find movies that do that sort of thing in a not playful, like in a straightforward way that's like meant to be dramatic. It's just kind of like unique, I guess. I like that sort of thing going on. And the soft focus stuff, like I mean, people have been using soft focus for a long time, back in the black and white days or whatever, but it is something interesting to see it in 70s or 80s, I guess, film, because it's just something that eventually did die out, but seeing it with like bright ass colors is a very different experience than seeing it like a starlet from the 40s. You know what I mean? Which is
Mhm.
where a lot of that stuff would go. That soft focusing would go. I don't know. It was interesting from a cinematography perspective for sure.
Yeah. The fight sequence in the restaurant, I think, is the one that probably stands out for me the most. I love when that dude like jumps, I don't know, 3 or 4 stories in the air, and he's like hanging on this like one lamp or lantern or whatever it is, and he's like hanging on with just his foot in this really like
Yes, I mean, he's
impossible way.
Completely horizontal.
Yeah, defying gravity entirely. It's like so goofy, but I was just like crazy entertained by that fight sequence. I thought it was really,
Mhm.
really fun.
I like them taking us into that world too, because in that scene you realize how rich these guys are. He's like, I'll pay for everyone's
Yeah.
meal, and any fucking thing I break is
Yeah.
on me and
Mhm.
shit like
It's
that.
like,
That's pretty
damn,
cool.
all right.
Yeah, he's really throwing it around just to have a fight with a guy.
He pulled the full Bruce Wayne there.
Yeah, yeah, it's on me, buddy.
Mhm.
Matt, you ever jump 3 or 4 stories in the air and hang on something like
In
that?
my 20s a couple times. But, as you get older, you gotta go down just a story or two.
Gotcha.
No, I was actually talking to one of the guys, one of the other instructors at the sword school the other day about this movie. He did kung fu when he was younger, and we were just talking about how like why that became a thing, like why the wire work, why the big jumps and the super strong strikes and everything. And in Italian fencing, there's this concept called sprezzatura, and I said that wrong, but that basically it means to make it look effortless.
Mhm.
And the way we were thinking about it is like that's all this stuff is an extension of that. These guys are so good at fighting, they're so athletic that they can do this stuff and make it look like it takes no effort at all. And once I started thinking about it that way, I was like, well, that's really cool. Of course, he can jump up 3 stories and it doesn't look hard. He didn't even like squat first. Like
Yeah.
he just like
Launched.
launched up there. Of course, he can wrap his leg around a chain and hold
Yeah.
himself up with all core work. And you know, like, and it's no effort at all for him because he's a kung fu master. And like, once I started thinking about it that way, and like, it's not magic. It's just effortlessness. It kind of turned my head on it. I actually, the more I think about this movie, the more I fall in love with it. I might go down a Shaw Brothers rabbit hole like this summer.
Oh shit.
It's a good time to do it. They're releasing a lot of their stuff on disc,
Mhm.
like box set after box set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Nice.
anything that was like practical, like was tickling my sword fighting part of me, and then anything that was crazy was like tickling the D&D part of me, like the Lord of the Rings part of me. And I'm like, this is someone got chocolate in my peanut butter. This is amazing.
Well, that's kind of how I took it too, where I was thinking of a movie that comes out now, like a John Wick, where it's all this choreography, and that's what's impressive. Is like, oh, this guy can fight off 10 guys, and you're looking at it in kind of real time. But back in the day, when you're trying to write this emphasis of how powerful somebody is, like it's almost kind of like the idea of wrestling too, of make it this kind of big grand show, but just on film. So of course he can walk on fans. I love, in the very first scene where he's walking down the fans and shit like that. So that's kind of how, I took it in that same kind of way of showing off just how powerful these guys are, where you wouldn't actually have to do some like super tight choreography that's like super quick, based on these actors and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a cool effect.
I mean, the fight choreography that they do I think it is pretty precise for what it is, and that wire work or whatever is maybe a little bit like stilted or whatever, but it's kind of in a fun way. So I think it all kind of works. And you're right though, there's not like, you think about action movies from the West, like I think Die Hard came out like 4 or 5 years after this, something like that, and that's
Die
like
Hard came out
a
in the
high
80s,
water,
right?
Yeah,
so
this
like
movie's
80,
81.
87.
Oh,
something
okay. I
like
was
that.
thinking about that Evil Spirit movie I was talking about then. I thought this came out in 72. Okay. Okay. Never
Oh
mind.
no, this is 81.
82. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
82. Okay. So this is 82. I think Die Hard was 88, I want to say. And that's like the high watermark for action films that really, like that and Lethal Weapon, pretty much defined the future of action for a while. And in those movies, it's all about struggle. It's not about effortlessness at all. Like showing off what you do is a matter of like being smarter than the other guy and, you know, using what you have, MacGyvering it, if you will, versus this sort of like just effortlessness idea, which I don't know, both are fine. Like there's not one that I prefer over the other necessarily. It's just like two entirely different modes that I'm just not used to looking at in an action film.
Yeah.
Which is also, I should point out, action films in general are kind of a blind spot for me. Just straightforward action movies. So it was nice to see like an action movie like this that was like blending in horror, but also was a kind of action movie that I had never seen before. That was very interesting for me.
Yeah, it seems like American action movies glorify being tough. Like you get hit, but you stand back up.
Yeah.
And these movies seem to glorify not getting hit. I'm not only am I not going to get hit, I'm going to make you look stupid not hitting me. You know,
That's a good point.
They take it very personally when like their clothes get ripped and by a sword or something. It's like, oh
or their
shit,
head gets cut a little bit.
yeah.
God damn it, ruined my life.
I wanted to ask you, Matt, about some of the more bizarre like weaponry used in this, because they I don't know what they're called. The assassin has these like hook blades like strapped to his arms.
Dude, I love that. Is
yeah,
that a real thing?
I don't train kung fu.
Sure,
But
yeah.
I think those are just hook swords.
Okay.
But yeah, they're predominantly used for blocking and hooking to trip and to push people's weapons to the side. Some of our manuals actually use size, like that you would cut grass with if you were a peasant, that do very similar things. The cool thing is they can reach around. So if you go to block with your hand, the hook can go around your hand and get your head anyway. And even if you miss the head, now the hand is inside that hook and you can pull back and catch the hand.
Cut it off.
So it gives you options. But yeah, that fight scene was awesome. I really liked it when the guy pulled out the halberd though, that the big axe on the pole.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah. I
he
love
was using
the
it like a
weaponry
quarterstaff.
variety.
Yeah, they just watching the
Bear
different
claws.
different weapons, like, oh, he's got this weapon now. This changes everything. Like that's another cool stimulus to give the audience. Like,
Yeah.
because now you have to recalculate everything you just saw. They can do it. They can do the same fight again, but now there's a different weapon. It's new again too.
Mm-hmm.
And the fan blades was another one that
That
I
caught me off guard. Yeah,
never
was
seen that
cool.
before.
Well, honestly, because the hook swords made me think of Cabal from Mortal Kombat. And
Yeah.
apparently they're
Yeah.
called hook swords. Like you said.
Nailed
and
it.
then
Melina has those fans, I think, in Mortal Kombat
Katana?
as well. Or is it Katana? One of
I
those.
think, well, yeah, maybe both or yeah. So, but it was cool because I like the fan when it got ripped.
yeah, that
And
caught
you
me off
could
guard.
see the metal
Mhm.
pieces that then you would be like, fuck yeah, that would suck
Yeah.
to get smacked with that thing or stabbed. Of course, they're sharp at the end, but up
Mhm.
until that moment, I had never considered fans as a weapon in that way. I just thought it
Yeah.
was an aesthetic thing that they were using for fucking Mortal Kombat. And I was like, oh shit, that's a real practical weapon.
Yeah, I mean, practicality, I don't know.
Well,
but
I guess,
like,
yeah.
it's certainly,
I'm assuming.
yeah, I mean, at least, I don't know how, like, I feel like that's not like a weapon of choice. That's more like the bear claws where it's stylish for this film, but it is like, yeah, that's what I like about it is like it's not 1-to-1 with reality. Those hook arms thing, yeah, give me that shit. If I'm choosing a weapon, that shit, that's what I'm about. Like,
I look
that
badass
extra
getting-
blocking
getting
power.
killed.
Dude, that guy was the, like, to me, like, if there's a choose your fighter in this movie, I'm choosing the assassin with the fucking hook arms. That guy ruled.
But he dies, so I don't want to be
He dies.
him.
Not only does he die, he's cocky up until the moment he does
Yeah.
die.
Yeah.
But everyone in this movie's cocky.
Cocky.
I
Yes,
know, like, you're
shit.
talking about him like this is the movie. Like,
Smug laughter, the movie.
Apparently,
Exactly.
war fans are a real thing. Iron
Dope.
fans, Tessans, a weaponized hand fan designed to use in warfare. That's nuts.
That is
Somebody listening to us is just like ripping their hair out because we sound so
it's for
fucking
sure.
ignorant.
Oh my God.
You don't train fans?
I think we all said this was our first Kung Fu
Yeah,
movie like
yeah.
10 times. I
Yeah.
think
Well,
okay.
and to be
We're new.
fair too, I do not want to get in some kind of culture war, but that was what I was just describing as a Japanese war fan. There might be some difference.
Oh,
and,
Justin, you
I-
fucked us
yeah.
now.
Maybe.
It's clearly a New Zealand war fan.
Duh.
Mm.
So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of badass kung fu stuff, but this movie really does a lot to marry the horror. So like the aspects that we see that are horrific in this, like really don't pull any punches. Chun Feng, the bad guy, the big bad in this movie, is literally skinning folks alive to make these lanterns, and they like linger on the moment when he's skinning these victims, and it's gruesome as hell.
You thought I couldn't take it seriously.
Yeah.
I was immediately like, that's not how skin works.
Wow.
Dude, I was the same way.
He's like pulling a ShamWow off that lady.
I was on Bob's. I was on Bob's
I
end.
thought it was gross.
I could feel it,
Yeah.
or at least because the way he rips it, and then they do an effect underneath her skin that makes it not necessarily look like muscle and blood, but almost like a really bad sunburn or something. It
Mhm.
looks kind of peeled away, and it was giving me the kind of heebie-jeebies a little bit, and I was like, "Fuck, that looks gnarly." I
Yeah.
thought it was effective.
I'm with Matt. Like, it wasn't that, like, I was kayfabing myself into feeling it, but I did get like, oh yeah, that's scary. I can't believe he's doing that. But it wasn't like out of
Oh.
fidelity to real life. It was just out of like, wow, that concept of like peeling someone's skin while they're still alive. That's crazy. Wow. Like, yeah, I didn't. The effect was kind of like, it was charmingly silly to me. Not like I liked it. It just wasn't like, it wasn't convincing, I would say.
Oh, hardened horror fan Randy over here.
I
Just
guess
can't
so.
we
Oh,
got?
Eli Roth over there.
Yeah.
I tell you what did work though is when he pressed the axe blade to her forehead.
Mhm.
I did not like that. That made me I squinted up and looked away like a little kid.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this movie kind of like it goes to dark places, or obviously because we're talking about fucking skinning people, but like there's like rape in this, which I was like, man, that's like just the one bridge I didn't need to cross with this fucking silly kung fu movie.
Not only is it rape, but they like take this weird artistic angle
Mhm.
and it makes it so much worse. Because it could be graphic, but then it's just like a bad college film rape scene, and I'm like,
Ugh.
why? You could just cut away. Just we figured it out already. Oh, it's still going. Fuck. Ah.
Yeah.
You
it's
just have
not
to
great.
like just write in a line of dialogue if you gotta, but like I don't think it was necessary, but I guess it speaks to like how much this guy hates Master Lung, but I don't know, man. It takes
Well,
a lot
also,
of it took the fun out of a lot of this scene.
Well, not only that, it was the woman who rejected him after he lost the fight. Isn't that the woman he raped? Because it was his
No,
wife.
that was his
Lung's wife.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's what happened. So
Oh,
when
yeah,
they
yeah,
were
yeah.
younger, that the guy, the Lantern Man,
Sure.
old lantern man.
old Lantern Man, he gets. So I'm pretty sure he was with that woman, and he was training in kung fu, but he was not rich like this guy, No Beard, Master No Beard,
Lung.
yeah,
Lung.
Mr. Lung, and
Master Nobi.
but he's rich and he trains a lot in kung fu, so he's like, I want her, and I'm gonna challenge you to this fight, and beats him and kind of humiliates him and scars him for life. And then he specifically says, and then you chose him for the money and the blah blah blah. And so it's a kind of like a revenge rape in a way.
Yeah,
So kind of makes
It is, and it's
even
fucking
worse
twisted.
than
But the
that
thing is,
way,
like,
yeah.
she didn't recognize him or didn't seem to, which was weird. And I don't know, like there was
Because
they do a
Tootsie Rolls.
cutaway.
Yeah. You didn't have
Yeah,
a scar
yeah, like,
last time I
I'm
saw you.
horrifying. No, look, but like it just seems like they spent so much time. I don't like. Everybody's in the seats to watch this movie because of the kung fu. I understand that for the most part. That's what people are there to see. But like, there's several fights you could have done in a in establishing that backstory visually rather than telling us in the moment that he's also raping this woman.
Yeah.
It was very unfortunate for me, and it kind of like it really took the wind out of my sails at that point. I was like, man, this went from like, I thought for a while they were setting him up as like a virtuous payback sort of thing gone mad, you know what I mean, like somebody who had a legitimate quarrel with this guy and was using that as an excuse to do horrible things or whatever. And I guess he does that, but he does it so deeply that it's like not fun anymore at that point. I don't know.
Also, too, I guess the plan at first seems legit, but then it gets kind of dumb. And even the guy at the end being like, "Why did you involve me in this?" You know, and he's like, "Because you two are rivals." I thought at least at first it was somewhat smart because it made the guy who he was seeking revenge, it made him suspicious and lose reputation. People don't want to come to his parties.
Exactly.
So that's great. But yeah, to involve the other guy just seems...
He pits them against each other, so they start taking each other down, but he still, like, at the end of the day, wants to have the final word. So he could have just let them implode.
Well, I know, but that would have happened had he not involved the other guy anyways, because he took that woman who was a prostitute who was going to end up marrying Masterbeard. And so Masterbeard already was mad at him, so he was going to go after him anyway.
They were already fighting. They were fighting.
Yeah, they were
anyways.
already fighting.
Like, they were fighting from the beginning of this movie.
He didn't need to take that guy's like sister. I don't know. He didn't really.
Yeah, taking his sister, I guess, is kind of out of left
his
field.
sister was weird.
This movie is very not kind to women in general.
Oh,
and I know that's
horrible. They treat
it's really
no one treats women. No man treats women well except for Sergeant Poon.
That's why he's the sergeant of Poon.
That's what.
Like they literally treat them like property.
Yeah,
and I mean, maybe that has fidelity to the real world. I don't know culturally. This is feudal Japan, I think. Like,
yeah, I have no idea what year this is supposed to be either.
Yeah.
And like concubines are in the mix. Polygamy's in the mix.
This is Chinese, Randy.
Yeah.
This is China.
Kung
This
Fu.
is not Japan.
Okay, well,
Yeah, Kung Fu means China.
Okay, well, I've mixed that up then. This is how ignorant I am of all this shit.
It's
So,
okay.
I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's just as a Western viewer, it's like in this year, it's a little bit harder to swallow than I think they wanted it to be. They're very much like every woman in this, from Lung's wife to the prostitute to a sister of Tan. It's like they're all murdered and skinned, and there's nothing else that they do, but like they don't serve any other function. Which,
well, to be fair, the sister seemed somewhat badass because she was out hunting.
Yeah.
She put up a pretty good fight up against that guy who's this master kung fu dark arts specialist. So
I agree, but it ultimately kind of nets out to the same problem. And I don't know, like between those things and the race, it just seems like this is a very like it seems mean spirited towards women, and I don't know how much that is intended or it's cultural or what.
Well,
but it just again was another thing that
yeah,
made me
they're raped,
not enjoy it.
Skinned,
a lot,
yeah, a lot happens.
A little bit over here.
A lot.
The only other person who gets skinned and killed or whatever is the old drunkard man.
The old drunk.
Yeah, he just wants to party.
Like,
who just
and then like a bunch of scrubs, a bunch of red shirt like fighters obviously died.
Yeah,
but yeah, I think that's it. I don't know, man. I like the idea of like a lantern festival being the central thing, and the guy's like, I'm gonna kill myself if I don't win. It's like, god damn, how much like the egos on these guys. It's like also a little hard to find like a person of I guess a perspective character in this, which is what I was looking for, which is why God, the killer
Something wasn't that for you?
And it kind of started where I was like, okay, so he's got righteous indignation that he's gonna like take revenge on this guy. But the more every step he takes, I'm just like, oh no.
Yeah, it's weird for Master No Beard to be the kind of hero or he does learn a lesson. So I mean, there's a character arc there, I guess. But yeah, it is.
I don't understand.
You're like, man, everyone's kind of a piece of shit in this movie.
Yeah, smug as shit.
I don't understand what lesson he learned though either, because it seems like he's just like goes from like he goes diametrically opposed. I know, like the actions he's taking are the actions somebody would take if he had learned a lesson, but I don't know what the lesson he learned is. It's just
Well,
like,
he gives a little speech at the end.
he does. I mean, like it doesn't
He
explain
recognized that
much
his
to me.
pride and his need to compete with someone just based on like wealth and status ultimately caused his downfall and the death of everyone he cared about.
I think it feels tacked on. I
Oh,
feel like
okay.
nothing,
yeah.
it's like in the
for
movie up to
sure.
that point points to him learning anything until that moment.
I honestly thought he got burned up at the end.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then
Me
he
too.
just shows back up, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh,
I
was like, fuck,
I guess
so-
he didn't. So is the other guy not dead either?
I don't know. Maybe there's a sequel out there somewhere.
Whoa.
They're going on a buddy road comedy now.
I will say though, them lanterns look fucking good. They
They
would have
look
won.
great.
They would have won that competition.
Now, hang on.
Oh boy.
I actually was gonna say the opposite.
You didn't like how they looked?
I was
You'll surely lose.
for a movie that was called Human Lanterns and the opening scene where we see the kind I've seen much bigger lanterns that I was hoping
Oh.
for something.
Swag bread.
Well, no. It was just at the end, they were just lanterns that were kind of small
Yeah.
and just tacked up in his little basement.
Yeah.
Yeah, he made them to look like the people whose
yeah.
skin he made.
Yeah.
But they reminded me of like old Christmas decorations from the
Yeah.
50s. And I was like,
The
oh,
blow
oh, that
mold
hit me. That hit me good. I would put that under my tree.
I thought they looked pretty cool. I also thought it was a neat like idea to juxtapose these like really horrific moments where he's like skinning these women alive, and then to show the end result and it be as pretty as I thought they were. He's like actually a true artisan.
Yeah, he put like her Fruity Pebble mole right on her forehead too,
Yeah.
which
Jesus
I don't
Christ.
understand that as a artistic choice, but he did it.
Well, I
No.
just thought it was maybe I was hyping it up for myself. I thought he was
Yeah.
gonna put all of the skin into one gruesome giant lantern that was gonna be this kind of reveal
Yeah.
of how I've been skinning the people you
Like a
love.
giant Hellraiser
Right.
prop.
Yeah, and then in
I
the
thought it'd
end,
be-
it was
Okay.
these smaller ones that were just hid away in his basement. Nobody really saw them, and it didn't really for a movie
Yeah.
that's called Human Lanterns, I thought that it was going to be more than it was.
Too
I
many
thought so,
humans,
too.
not enough lanterns.
And no,
Yeah.
I thought the fact that he-
Yeah.
I think the fact that he was found out before like the big Lantern Festival reveal is like, just
Yeah.
feels like a missed opportunity. Like it
Me
feels like that's
too.
your climactic scene is at the festival.
I
You can
agree.
like do up the area and make the set even more beautiful, and you can reveal these things. Even if it was what it was, that setting gives them the pomp that I think and like the impact I think they deserve. And I agree though about like they're not as gruesome as I would have liked either. I like the way they look, like just aesthetically, I think they look great. I like the other lantern just as much, I think, though. It has nothing to do with the concept behind the human lanterns and the folklore or whatever. I thought that maybe it would like have those things and then like have like heads jack-o'-lanterned basically or some shit. Like I
Mhm.
thought there was gonna be an extra level to it that was gonna like clearly show what's gruesome about it, rather than sort of like you having the characters having to deduce that, oh, these are made from human skin, oh my god. Like I don't know, I just it wasn't as climactic as it could have been, and that was kind of a little bit of a drag, I think.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, that's how I felt about it too. Missed opportunity.
What did y'all think of the design of the villain? Because I was pretty happy with it.
I liked it a
That was
lot.
rad, man.
Mhm.
Loved it.
His
That was cool.
his mask reminded me a lot of General Kill from the Willow movie that came out in '88. Like I feel like they directly stole it.
I hadn't seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Well, this is at 82, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So this came out first.
Yeah. I love how it kind of glowed. It had this like glowing
Mhm.
feel to it. The mask was like
The best
haunting.
the best shot in the whole movie is when Lung is in his base and he jumped up on the ceiling because he threw a secret spear at him, and then
Oh, yeah.
the villains on the roof just stabbing. They cut from a wide shot far away, and he's just stabbing into the roof over and over and over again. I was like, I want a gif of that just playing in my like house.
Just 24
In a
hours a
frame.
day.
I have a gift frame in my home.
Yeah, and honestly.
And no, it's a
Yeah.
like I really like the way that he looked. I think that it was like it was cheap but effective in all the right ways. It had like I don't know, like the vibes of the character weren't this, but like the mask and all that stuff was Michael Myers-ish, where you can't really see the true intent of who's behind it, which was obviously telegraphed by shit like this. So like the evil cackle and all that stuff, and like this thing, he turns in like he's full animal and he's like swaying. I don't know, man.
animalistic.
You just don't see that sort of shit in Western horror stuff when it's not played for laughs. And I really liked it that they played it straight on that.
I feel like they sped him up too. Any shot that was just him, like the frame rate went up.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh,
Could have been.
interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just that
And the
fast.
bear claw weapons, like what
Yeah.
a thing. That's what a choice. That is not a thing. It can't be a thing, right? Like
No, it's a thing.
it's a thing. Are you
No,
serious?
100%. That's a thing.
Holy
Right.
shit.
You need to
That's
play
so
some
great.
Mortal
That's like saying that
Kombat,
Mike. That's like
Randy.
saying that. It's like saying fucking Freddy Krueger's glove is a thing people used in fucking the Dark Ages or some shit. It just blows my mind. If you tell me that right now, I will shit my pants.
No, I don't.
Tell him.
Oh my god.
I want to see him shit his pants on
Man,
air.
Ruined.
Once I pooped in my pants in school and I just left it in all day.
You got it.
What is that from? I need to know.
Randy's life.
It's lost to the sands
Third
of time.
grade.
Sorry.
Third grade.
Third grade, damn.
He was in college.
No, I'm using that as an
People-
opportunity to get out of school. I don't know what you're doing, my guy.
Excuse me, teacher. I shit my pants.
There's shit
Again?
everywhere.
Yeah, it's Tuesday.
Guess I gotta go home.
Shit my pants every Tuesday.
I do it on Friday, long weekend. So I get out of work every Friday. Shit my pants.
Oh, sitting in the
Boss, I
downstairs.
shat my pants again.
Gotta go. Oh shit. Yeah, the bear claw thing. You ever use one of those, Matt?
No.
No, okay. Why
It
not?
seems like it wouldn't be that practical of a weapon, but I guess
But
if
I don't
people
think
really
I don't
use
think it's like for warfare. I think it's like I need to sneak a weapon into this place. Or they use them like
Alright.
the way we would use brass knuckles, except for it also cuts you.
that makes sense. Okay, that
Yeah.
that does clear it up. But it's also furry. Let's not forget. So
Yeah,
I mean,
he's wearing
little
like a full
style
ghillie
points.
suit. That probably
Yeah.
stinks. That guy's hygiene's horrible.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, yes, I think he's living amongst a butter churn filled with blood and viscera. So I don't think he's
And-
smelling too hot.
Aren't we all?
Another cool concept though about the mask is they can use a stunt double for that. Him.
Yeah,
You know, like
True.
that could have been 7 different guys doing all that stuff as far as we know.
yeah.
And I wonder if they thought about that going in. They're like, oh, we need a guy that can jump. We need a guy that can do this fighting style. We need a guy that'll let us throw him through a roof. Well, okay, we'll put a
Probably.
mask on the villain and then we can do all that stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's a
probably.
good point.
Good point.
for sure.
Yeah, because there's no point where anytime he's wearing the mask, it's usually a one-on-one, and he takes the victim back to his house where he then takes his mask
Mhm.
off.
Mhm.
So it's not hiding his identity most of the time. So yeah, could be.
Did y'all
He
notice
also takes it off quite a bit.
that Lung and Tan show up at the end wearing white, like they're fucking good guys or something?
I
That
did.
didn't
Yeah.
fool me. You
I
assholes.
did. Especially the showdown fight, especially when it's one-on-one with just Lung and the bad guy.
I was so hoping Sergeant Poon would have just killed all of them and like been the hero of the movie.
Steps up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could have worked too. It just it kind of just sputters to a close is a thing that I want to
Well,
say.
I
about this
like the
movie.
final showdown. I thought one thing, when
But, like,
they
the
launched
conclusion,
that dude out of the chair, like he's wounded, and his servants come. It was Tan because he had been
Mhm.
wounded in the previous fight, and at the very
Oh,
end,
yeah.
they're carrying him in a chair and they launch him.
They hurl him
into
over.
the fight.
Yeah,
that
that's
shit got me
true.
pretty good.
That's
It's like,
pretty good. I
God
mean, the fight is all
damn.
good. Like all the fighting is to me, for the most part, equally fun and good. Like I have no real complaints about those things for the most part. It's just like the conclusion of the story. Like we said, it was anticlimactic to me ultimately from a story perspective.
Yeah.
And that's probably going to be my biggest critique of the movie is that that's where it sputtered.
Now, I wasn't with Bob where he said I was never bored. I was kind of like you, Randy, where the movie, it's not too long. It felt longer than it was for me.
I
And,
agree.
maybe if you cut out the sister aspect, especially because we didn't know her as a character, at least the other two, we spent a little bit of time with and we knew their motivations and stuff like that. But maybe you could have just cut the sister part out. And sometimes especially when you already know, like, there's no mystery for you as a viewer. You know who's doing this. You know his plan from the very beginning. And so watching it play out a little bit, especially as many victims as we had, just felt a little too long for it. Dragged a little
I
bit.
agree. There's so much real estate that could be reused, like I said earlier, with establishing the story of how Master Lung and this guy wound up at odds. Like, we got told about that in the worst moment in the film. Like, we got told the details of that in the worst moment of the film. The only other time we've actually seen the past was like one scene where he's remembering the battle that scarred his face, and it's all about him getting his face scarred. It's not about like what caused the fight or anything. Go back there, establish who these characters were, how far he has fallen, establish that that Lung took his wife basically as a prize, establish that maybe he and Tan have a little bit of bad blood and that's why he involved him. Like, I don't know, or maybe anything, and like give something to do for Tan's little sister or something like that. I don't know. There's so much stuff you could rework into like setting up the blocks for why this character is the way he is, and they just don't really do that. So I don't know. I don't know.
I think you
That's
could
all.
I think you could cut that tacked on ending easily, and then you could cut the rape scene and then just show them burning at the end. I think that would have been a good ending. Just everyone dies, fire everywhere. Oh my god.
Yeah,
that would have been a great ending.
That would be
Real quick.
Instead, they
extremely
needed a
memorable,
moral
yeah.
to sneak in at the last minute. In my opinion,
But it's not
pretty unearned.
satisfying because there
Right.
at no point during the movie was I'm like, this guy's gonna turn it around.
Yeah, he's an asshole through
Yeah.
and through. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
if
he's
maybe
like
the loss
to
of his
his core.
wife had if there had been a moment where he really mourned the loss of his wife,
Yeah.
but even given the backstory, we don't spend enough time with them, and this dude's such a piece of shit, a rich, bratty piece of shit, that we think his wife is just a prize anyways. So
Yeah. I don't
Well, he's
think
got-
this movie's honestly concerned with telling a morality
Sure.
tale necessarily.
Well,
They're just
no.
like,
It's
I don't
not-
know, we need to have an ending.
Sure.
He's gonna give away everything and go find himself.
yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
But it could have been like brought to such better heights if they had paid just a little attention to it. They could have
I
had all-
agree. Yeah.
They could have had all their cake and eaten it too. They could have had all their fight scenes, done all the like similar or same shit that they've done. Just work in some backstory for that stuff. Like, you know, I don't know. Like, the first thing we find out about our hero character is that he's embarrassed by a colleague or whatever, by a contemporary, because he shows off his fucking prostitute in front of his wife, and is like, and the prostitute wants to be his concubine. He's like, no, I'll kill you instead. And like, what the fuck? This is our hero, it turns out. Like,
Yeah.
In '82 that passed. That
I
passed.
guess.
That's where we were.
oof, not
Any
for
other
me, man.
any other major points you guys want to touch on before we rate this thing?
No.
No? All right. Well, let's go ahead and get into it. Out of 5, Matt, why don't you kick us off, man? How do you feel about Human Lanterns?
I tell you, the more I think about this movie, the more I think I'm getting more enjoyment of just thinking about it than I did while I actually watched it. I have trouble with subtitles, so like I had to pause it and rewind a lot. I watched this in Mandarin and in German
Damn,
just
dude.
to see if maybe something it would click different. It
Yeah.
didn't. It was more funny in German though. I'll tell you all that. I love the fantasy aspects to it. I love the fight scenes, obviously. I like that fake gore, like where the blood's neon pink for some reason, and like yes, skin just looks like wet toilet paper. You know, like
Hell yeah.
I think there's a place for that because you're not grossed out, but you still understand what's going on. I plan on watching more movies like this. That being said, the rape scene's very problematic. The way I felt uncomfortable about the way they were treating women. The longer the movie went on, the more uncomfortable I felt. And then I would say it maybe they could have wrapped that ending up a little bit more better. I'm gonna give it a 3.75.
All right. 3 3/4 from Matt. Juice, how do you feel?
Yeah, so the positives are I liked the setting. I aesthetically, this movie looks really good in almost any aspect. The outfits, the street designs, the restaurant design, the Lantern Street. I kind of wanted to spend more time there. Just these people's houses and it just looks really great. And so, and even the weapon choices, the diversity in the weapons looked really fun. So I love just overall the look of this film. Um, I also like the fight scenes. There wasn't a fight scene where I was having a bad time. Those were definitely the entertaining moments for me. And I thought that each time it kind of ramped up a little bit more and more and more. And I thought that the ending scene, fight scene was really satisfying as a fight scene within itself. That dude launching out of the chair killed me pretty good. Like I thought shit was, but actually probably the best one was the one with the kind of axe. What's it called,
The
Matt?
hook swords.
No,
Oh, the halberd.
yeah,
Yeah.
that one. And that was a really cool fight scene where that one dude got surprisingly wounded or whatever. That was cool. I like the villain. I thought he was fucking dastardly. That was a son of a bitch, you know. The negatives are the overall story kind of has some problems to it. Like I said, it doesn't really make that much sense to involve this other guy in it. Um, and or at least to the extent that he does. And the violence against the women and the sister being involved, she was just kind of felt tacked on. And then the ending scene where it just felt kind of tacked on with this guy learning a lesson, and him being the hero the whole time. It's like, yeah. So I guess also that aspect of not having a character to kind of root for, I guess it's just more of just a thrill. It was funny. The laughs, they got me pretty good, but there's too much. There's definitely too much of that. I thought
Are
he
you
was gonna
waiting
play
for
that.
it?
Well, it looked like
Hey, man,
you wouldn't. It looked like
Your
You wouldn't
cue,
you wouldn't do
Randy.
you wouldn't do the Chinese Chinese
Oh,
speaking Chinese
fair
for me.
enough.
So I mean,
Fair enough. So yeah, overall, I thought it was entertaining for me though, even though it felt like it dragged a little bit. I did mention I was kind of disappointed in and thought it was a missed opportunity for what the lanterns ended up being and how they were displayed. I agree with Randy that they should have done the reveal at the Lantern Festival so we get a little bit more of that. But yeah, overall, I liked it. I think I'm going to give this one a 3.5.
whoa.
There it is.
Let's see. Randy, out of 5, what did you think about Human Lanterns?
Yeah, I have a lot of the similar complaints as you, and it's a lot of similar praise as you. Like, here's the thing about me personally is action is very rarely enough for me to hang my own hat on when it comes to a movie all on its own. It really does need to be bolstered by some other things. And this movie has some other things to going for it, certainly. The fight scenes are certainly great. They're fun to watch. They're interesting. They're outside of my wheelhouse, so they feel unique to me. And all that's positive. But without some of these other things, I think this would be a much lower score. And so those other things are largely like the set design and the cinematography and some of those things, some of the editing. I really like a lot of that stuff. I think that a lot of that stuff is coming across as strong or at least unique to my eyes. And I really enjoy that about it. I enjoy the horror elements of this in terms of just like I just like the blend of like this feudal China situation mixed with like just straight up serial killing ass slasher stuff. Um I don't know. I like all that and it all works reasonably well. But yeah, the inclusion of like rape scenes, the way women are treated in general are both things that like really were dour for me. The plot and like the ultimate protagonist and the way he supposedly concludes his arc, none of that stuff really landed for me. I don't know. Like as much as if I was more of an action guy, I would feel like I would get more out of this. Or if I had like some of the background that Matt you have or anything of that stuff, maybe I would have a little bit of a different opinion about this. But it was kind of it wasn't as great as I wanted it to be. It was ultimately anticlimactic. It didn't even build all the way to what I wanted it to the heights I wanted to build to. And it seems like it wasted a lot of time to my eyes with, as much as I like the fighting, just fighting that is just there to have a fight scene, like the restaurant. Like that's a great fight scene, but the stakes are the same stakes that we just saw like 10 minutes before at the previous fight or the fight before that. Like there's just not a whole lot of extra stakes going on or a lot that we know about these characters to involve our emotions and pick a fighter, you know. That this is a fucking action movie and I don't know who to root for. I feel like that's an issue. So yeah, ultimately to me it's above average for me, but it's not much. I'm going to give it a 2.75.
2.75 from Randeezy.
All right, Bob, out of 5, you're last, but maybe not least.
Maybe. We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll find out.
You're gonna dip lower than 2.75.
We'll find out, sir. So I dig this movie quite a bit. It's not my favorite movie by any means, but I think what I like about it the most is that it's just something very, very different for us. We've never talked about a movie quite like this before, and it's kind of refreshing to dip our toes into like a brand new pool, so to speak. It does very much feel like this movie is just trying to get to the next fight sequence. So like there is a fight sequence. A character finds out one new piece of information, which makes him go fight someone else, and then he learns a new piece of information there, and they goes to fight someone else. And so it's a little bit of the I don't know, repetition, but the fight sequences generally are pretty damn entertaining, so I'm not too bothered by that. The horror sequences that they include in this, I think, are pretty effective for the most part. They're very gruesome, and I really like the way that they're framed and shot. Overall, I like the villain. His mask design, I think, is extremely badass. And I think he is like very clearly a solid big bad for this movie. But as everybody has already mentioned, there is no main person to root for. You know, there's no protagonist, so to speak, through and through. Everybody's just kind of a son of a bitch here. I do love the cinematography, the way things are lit and shot. I think it's like eye candy. So like maybe that's why I wasn't quite so bored, even in the more like slower moments of the movie. I think there was always something visual to appreciate. So that kind of really kept my attention and kept me engaged with the movie. I think we pretty much already covered everything else. I dig this movie quite a bit, but it's got flaws. The ending being the most obvious one. The train just like runs straight into a wall, and it's just like, yeah, that's it, movie's over. Like, I mean, you're like wondering if the bad guy actually did die at all. You're like, well, what the fuck? That's the ending we get. So overall, it's a 3.5. Glad I watched it, and like Matt said, I'd kind of like to see some more stuff like this. So maybe we'll get into it later in the year. Cool, we'll see. That's going to put our aggregate at a 3.4. And as per usual, whenever you guys pick a movie for us to review, we ask you to send in a voicemail or an email with your own rating and review. And Miles did send over a pair of voicemails, so we're going to hear the first one now.
Is this me now?
Yeah.
We're listening to Miles's voicemail, so yes.
Okay. All right. I didn't know that one of those were him. So which one is it?
They're both him.
Oh yeah, they both are.
Okay, I didn't know. I don't pre-screen them.
Oh, if I didn't say, I thought I said that.
Bob did. Bob did. He said we
Well, I
got two that
didn't
are
hear it,
Miles.
sorry.
He picked the movie.
Okay.
All right, I missed it. Here we go. If you want to pick up.
Yeah, just go for it. Yeah,
This is standing behind the scenes.
What's up, fellas? It's Miles here. I thought I'd call in before I forget to leave my review. You guys are reviewing my pick this week. Thanks for that, by the way. Although I guess I paid for it, so you didn't really have a choice. So I guess you're welcome. But yeah, I really like this movie. I know it's a little bit different than what you guys normally review. I've always been into martial arts and kung fu movies, but over the past year, my interest has grown, and I've kind of gone from like casual fan to like more like hardcore, like getting into the genre. So I'm discovering a bunch of movies that I haven't seen before. This was one, being a horror fan already, I tried to seek out movies that were that crossed over between the two. There are more than you think, actually. I ended up going with this one because I think it balances horror and the martial arts and the action side of it pretty equally. Most of the like kung fu horror movies I've seen have been horror comedies, and I think it's hard to balance the two with the genre because martial arts movies are about empowerment, and you know it's hard to build tension when you have a main character who's basically a superhero and he just destroy a room full of guys. Like he doesn't really have a lot of threats against him. And I think they circumvent this and that in this movie really well, because instead of making the threat to the two characters, who are the fighters, who are the main two guys, the threat is to people who are around them, like people they are tied to, their wives and family members and you know, mistresses and stuff like that. So I thought it balanced it very well, making the martial arts work and still keeping up that tension. It's got some good gore. It's shot really well. I really like this director. I've only seen 2 of his movies. The Avenging Eagle is another one. He is really good. But yeah, I am just interested to hear what you guys think. It's a 4 out of 5 for me. But yeah, interested to hear you guys take. Looking forward to it, and thanks again for reviewing it.
Yeah, and go play the second one if you don't mind.
Hey, it's me again. I think that
Okay, I'll start that again.
Hey, it's me again. I think that I tried to keep it under 3 minutes. I think I got cut off. So I don't know if you got my score. But I thought about some other points I had made to the movie. Because I forgot that I can go over 3 minutes because it's my call-in review. So yeah, some other things I like about this movie. I like that all the characters are douchebags for the most part. There's not really any likable characters, at least among the men in this movie. I don't think it's intentional. It might be, but there could be some commentary here if you want it about toxic masculinity. These, you know, the 2 main guys are so up their own asses. They can't see that the person committing serial killings and murders might be the weird guy that lives in the woods that has a grudge, that has every reason to have a grudge against them. It completely flies over their head. So that's kind of funny. When I first thought I was like, why did we reveal who the killer is? It'd be better if this was a mystery. You know, why do we reveal it so early into the movie? And it actually works because, you know, it's so fucking obvious who it would be. It wouldn't really be a mystery anyways. But these 2 guys are such idiots, such just macho manly men, like consumed with their own egos, that the most obvious dude who is committing these crimes, they don't even consider it. Because they're so focused on outdoing each other. But yeah, I don't know if I caught my score in the first time I called, but 4 out of 5. Yeah. Thanks again.
4 out of 5. 4 stars out of 5.
Randy, you got that bump, right?
We got to pay for that. Don't.
Who
play
is that? What's that? Who the fuck is that? Yeah, thanks for calling and let us know, Miles, man. Like, it's good to hear that other perspective, because he's huge into these movies, or at least has been this year.
Yeah.
Like, I know we've seen his Letterboxd on our Slack channel, and
Yeah.
it is chock full of these kind of movies. These movies, he's been going through the classics in general, like going through old Hollywood stuff too. So
Yeah. He sure said some dumb things, didn't he, Matt?
I didn't hear anything dumb. I take no side in this argument.
Damn it, I was
What?
trying to set you up. You said you were going to shit on Miles.
Oh no, it was more like I just wanted to say, like, holy crap! Like, I can't believe I waited so long to watch this stuff. It was more like I was just happy that someone gave this to me.
Oh,
Yeah. I'm
That's
super excited.
well, I misread that.
Yeah.
I actually, yeah.
Dude, I thought you were gonna give him a hard time.
Heading into our 10th year, it's nice, like you said, it's kind of refreshing to get something like
Yeah.
this. Also, too, I don't know if we've ever even, not just out of Kung Fu, but covered a movie that came out of Hong Kong before. I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I think it's the first
So,
time.
yeah, it's cool to still have those kind of milestones, you know.
And Hong Kong, I know, is famous for having some pretty wild, straight up horror movies too.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with them, but I do think a lot of them are starting to roll out now and become a little easier to find, more accessible in general.
That's
Like,
cool.
like I mentioned, that these Shaw Brother box sets, Era Video's putting them out like crazy. So I'm sure we're going to see more and more stuff like this over the
Nice.
next couple years, which is exciting for sure.
Yeah, it is.
Dope. Yeah, thanks for the pick, Miles. It's definitely something
Great
new
way to
for us.
kick off 2024. I'll say that.
Yeah, solid pick to start the
I
year.
think it's going to be a good quarter for the U picks. Just a hunch.
It's
You
not like we
know.
know what they all are or anything.
Just got this feeling.
I know for a fact one of them's pretty good.
Yeah, we might be talking about that in a couple weeks. There, Matt.
Whoa.
Awesome, man. Yeah, thanks for calling in, Miles. Thanks for picking this week's flick. Let's go and jump into our Rotten Tomatoes segment and see what the critics and users think about Human Lanterns.
Okay. So we're at a bit of a crossroads here.
Yeah. Thank you. Randy, yeah, you said there's not much to be found for this movie on Rotten Tomatoes, right?
Yeah, there are 2 review blurbs on this and fewer than 50 audience ratings, so there are no aggregate scores available. So I guess we can just read those 2 blurbs. If you guys want to guess if they're positive or negative, have at it, but this is not for any points.
Yeah, you
glory's
can,
not
you
even
can
there.
I expect one of each, but who knows? Who knows?
All right.
The
Well,
yin and the yang, if you will.
what do you expect, Matt? Tell me what you expect.
Yeah, the yin and the yang. Someone hated this movie so much they wrote a review, and someone loved this movie so much they wrote a review.
Well, you're both wrong. These are both positive reviews.
Ooh.
Here's one that reads, Human Lanterns is truly a hidden gem that will create deep discussions well after our hero renounces his extravagant ways. Don't agree, but I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how many deep discussions there are to be had as a result of this movie intentionally, but that's a whole different conversation, I guess.
What's the other one?
The other one is, if kung fu and horror flicks are your bag, then this is the perfect hybrid. Where else can you see fists and swords flying one second and chicks being skinned alive the next? I think that's fair. That comes from our
That's a
friends at
fair
Jared Central.
question. Yeah,
I mean,
fair question.
Yeah.
Glowing.
That's it. There's one audience review, and it was fun movie or something along those lines. So that's
It's
it.
movie.
Straight to the point.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
movie. So let's call that 100% fresh, since both
100%.
are positive reviews for the critics.
Yeah, I guess
You
so.
heard it here, folks. 100% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow.
So I mean, yeah, I guess that's about it. I do have there wasn't a lot of trivia on this movie, basically none, but I found a little bit of trivia about the Shaw Brothers that I thought might be worth talking about. So let's go ahead and jump into some trivia real quick.
Let's do it.
It's totally time for trivia.
All right, totally time for trivia. So the Shaw Brothers were the largest film production company in Hong Kong, and they operated from 1925 all the way up to 2011. It was run by 3 brothers. They were named Runji, Runmi, and Rundi. Might be mispronouncing that last one.
Rundy.
Run DMC Shaw, the most famous Shaw. So the 3 brothers kind of ran this company. They started off making a lot of like dramatic features, and then from roughly about the 1960s onward, they pivoted and started favoring martial art features. Over the years, they produced right around 1,000 movies in total, some of them becoming the most popular and significant Chinese language films of the period. In 1987, the company suspended film production in order to concentrate on the television industry throughout its subsidiary TVB. And film production did eventually resume in limited capacity in 2009. And then, like I said, in 2011, the company dissolved. I think it was purchased by another larger megacorp. But that's just sort of like a very brief overview of like the company known as the Shaw Brothers and what they got into. So they made a lot of shit. They made a whole lot of shit. There you go.
Great.
I got some adjacent trivia.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah.
So there's a couple scenes in here where Chow Feng is just throwing people in sacks.
Yeah.
That's a real thing that you can train. We have books on it
Really?
that tell you how to do that quick, where they don't struggle and you get them in the whole sack really, really fast. Generally you want two people. One person to hold the other person's arms down, and then one person put the sack over their head.
Uh-huh.
But you can do it with one person.
Wow.
So that's out there. If that's something you want to train, like on a Saturday night in your backyard, you can buy that book. You can buy a sack. You can go for it.
What is that? Is there a name for that technique?
I mean, they just refer to it as
Sackful.
God,
bagging 'em.
pistols.
Getting black bags.
It's kidnapping for the purposes of hostages. That's why they.
Okay.
That's why they train.
I gotcha. Yeah, that makes
Um,
sense.
Ooh.
Also, if like there's a scene in this movie where he's fighting like 15 people. If you're ever fighting 15 people, run away. Like the book says, run away and then turn around and fight one guy and then run away again and just keep doing that until you can't do that anymore. If you get to the spot where if you can't do that, you want to cut and not thrust, because if you thrust, you have to reload the thrust again or
Mhm.
rechamber your arm to thrust again. But if you cut, you're already ready to make the next cut.
Poised for another.
You
cut.
want
That
to
makes sense.
circle. You want to circle out. Always fight the guy on the edge, and always try to get around. Don't let them surround you. Basically,
Right. Yeah. Stay on
So-
the outside.
So
Survival tips from Matt over
Yeah.
there.
basic, yeah,
For real.
basic post-apocalypse stuff. It works on zombies better than people, but yeah, remember this. And then some just general cool facts for the Chinese swords. A jin is a double-edged sword that's always straight. That's the one our hero in parentheses characters were using.
Mhm.
And then a dao has one edge. So those, it doesn't matter the size, either one-handed, two-handed, put it on a pole arm. Jin and dao. Jin has two edges, dao has one edge. And there you go. You know some cool Chinese martial arts stuff.
Nice.
Fuck yeah.
Matt,
Bringing
you're
the real
best.
trivia, not like that bullshit Bob brought to the table.
Shaw Brothers bullshit.
Bullshit.
Thank you, Randy.
That gets me every
That bump's
time.
gonna last so long.
I hope so, man. How many laugh bumps did you pull, Randy?
Like 7.
Nice.
Damn.
Just keep them in rotate. Keep at least
I would have
three
had
in
more, but I
rotation.
would have run out of time. So
Awesome. Thanks, Matt. Gentlemen, let's go ahead and jump into our cooter of the week.
Straight chillin'. Gooder of the week.
Juice, what is a cooter and why do we hunt them?
Oh, Cooter is a character type in a straight chillin' exclusive. Cooter must hit 3 of these 5 points to be considered a Cooter, but we want the Cooter with the most points. The 5 points of Cooterdom are sexual deviance, manipulation, smug arrogance, overall looking attire, and overall patheticness. Boys, I don't know if there's a character in this film that's not a Cooter.
This is a cooter
Yeah, that's
rich
right.
environment.
Yes.
Yeah.
it is indeed.
Fish in a barrel.
You know,
here.
I don't know.
Uh-huh.
Do we start with the obvious or do we start with the outlier?
Maybe we
the
start at
lesser?
the top and work our way down.
All of the men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not my boy Sergeant Poon.
Sergeant
Sergeant-
Poons.
I don't
It's fine.
know.
My boy
Sergeant
Poon.
Poon-
He's quite incompetent.
Yeah, but he's not a cooter about it.
Well,
True.
all right. So
Incompetence
let's
isn't one of the points. So
Chong Fang, Chong Chang,
Chow-
Chong.
We
oh
don't long and
no.
tan.
let's be careful with that.
Okay, I'm sorry, Mr. Fang, Mr. Fang.
Yeah, Fang. Yeah.
Okay,
That
yes.
is
Killer.
the la- yeah.
The killer, Mr. Black.
Mr. Black.
I really like that attire.
Mr.
I like
Black.
it. His
He
attire.
did look kind of fly.
Yeah.
He's got his Tootsie Roll personality and then his Skullman furry ape personality. I bet you if you played drums in the woods, he would show up.
Probably. What's going on here?
If I want that.
bedazzled.
So we're not going to get him on looking attire, but
Are we
can-
sure about that? He's got a fucking Michael Myers-ish mask. I don't know that, like.
Oh no,
I
I was
understand
saying
it's cool.
I was saying give him the
Oh,
props.
get him
Yeah,
the looking
yeah.
attire.
Yeah.
For the- oh, for
It's
the
a
Tootsie
cool
Roll.
mask, but it is a
Or-
cooter mask.
Let me
Like,
see
it's-
that Tootsie Roll. We can give it to him. I think it looks cool.
I think it looks cool too.
Yeah, but it's cool in a cootery kind of way.
It's cool because it
Is
makes him
there
a
such
cool,
thing?
evil piece of shit. So,
Like, I don't want to be in a room alone with
I
him.
mean, if you want to give it to him for the Tootsie Roll, I'm okay with that.
That's fine. We'll give it to him. We can give it to him. Smug arrogance, I think so.
Oh yeah,
my God, this movie's
manipulation?
dripping with it.
yeah.
Yeah, manipulation. Yes, he manipulates that other assassin into
Yeah.
distracting Master Tan so that he can abduct his wife or
Yeah.
his sister.
No,
Something.
that was his wife.
It was his wife, okay.
Lung's wife. Sexual deviance for sure.
Oh my God, dude. Yeah, we don't. Enough said. Really.
Yeah. Pathetic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
This
he's
little
doing all
baby.
this 'cause he lost a fight.
All 5.
All this because he
Well,
has
look at that.
one
Oh, yeah, we
scar that, granted, looks a little like doo doo on his forehead, but
Buy
it
a
should not be that
headband.
big of it.
Buy a headband. Get on with
Dude,
your
yeah.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah, wear a beanie, my guy.
The doo-doo scar.
Yeah, I feel like at some point too, he was wearing some kind of headband. It was just higher up on his forehead. Just pull that down a scotch.
Yeah, just wear a ball cap, buddy. You're
Can't
good.
do it. Can't do it. Well, that's all 5 for him. That's pretty damn good.
All right,
Yeah.
so we got him. Let's go to Lung.
Yeah.
next.
Let's go to
Lung
Master
and-
Lung.
Master Lung. He's smug, arrogant, got all the ass.
Yeah.
God
damn.
damn.
If he doesn't win that fucking lantern
He will
festival, he
kill
will kill
himself.
himself.
And he
Yeah.
says it so nonchalantly. He's not even like,
Yeah.
oh, I guess I would have to kill myself.
I
He
gotta
said-
kill myself.
he's like, if I'm not the whole world, I'm out.
Damn. So smug arrogance, yes. Manipulation.
I mean, yeah, to some extent. I don't know. It's kind of like
Probably the
just
least
standard rich.
manipulative of all the cooters we got.
He's kind of like standard rich guy manipulative, which is
Yeah.
like in the grand scheme of this movie, kind of low lying. But like, yeah, I'm gonna fight you wherever the fuck I want. I'll pay for everything. I don't know.
Yeah,
that
he's
seems a
kind of
little cootery.
straightforward about it though. He always tells people to his like even the woman, he's like, if you marry him, I'm gonna kill you. Damn.
He doesn't mince words. That's true.
Yeah, he's pretty straight about everything. He's like, I'm gonna fight you in this restaurant and I'm gonna pay for all of it.
Right? He's like,
Yeah.
I know I ruined your life, but you're gonna make me a
True.
lantern because I'm gonna take you to the whorehouse later.
I guess
Yeah.
manipulative in that actually, yeah, his original fight with that guy, it's manipulative. It's like if you want to get with someone, just
Beat up their boyfriend.
well,
Of
yeah,
course, yeah.
just
So
I don't know.
1950.
Yeah, that whole situation's pretty
It always
manipulative.
works for
Yeah.
me, boys.
I guess so. Looking
It's
attire.
a weird manipulation. Looking attire, he's looking
It's very
like a
fresh.
feudal master. He looks
pretty
great.
suave,
Like I
actually.
said.
Yeah, he's got that.
Everybody seems to
that
see
drip.
him as a stately man.
He's got
in
this.
his world. So
He's got the same eyebrows that all the youths are wearing now.
Dude, yeah. Thick,
Does
thick
he?
and proud.
the sideburns, though, man, woof,
Oof.
those are some burns. He and
They're coming
Tan both
back.
have like some pretty radical sideburns going.
Even the women have some wild sideburns. They're curly. They're like
they?
looping around.
Mm.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, banks were
Yeah.
popular that year too.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Mm.
You do.
So yeah, I don't think he's hitting that attire.
All right.
And sexual deviance. I mean, I guess he's caught in a situation where he's embarrassed to have slept with a prostitute, and then that
Prostitute.
same night tries to entice the villain to come with him to a brothel. And I don't know, at least like there's conversation about him taking a concubine. It kind of depends on what like the
yeah, I don't really know what
social
the rules
order
are.
is. To some
seems down
extent,
with it.
to our eyes, I think all that is pretty cootery behavior, but that's
Well,
very
and it-
specific to our world.
It's
You
very
boys don't have
clear.
concubines?
Got a few.
It's very clear though. He's just using these women. It's all about him. He doesn't really care
That's
about
true.
either one of them.
That's fair.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
He seems like he really genuinely likes his wife. Like I don't know. I don't know. It's very based on very
It's
little
hard
evidence.
to
I
tell,
say that. At the beginning, he gives her like a really like sweet longing glance. The way he talks to her, she can calm him down. She calms him down at one point or another. And like, I don't know. I think there's a little bit of sweetness between him and his wife, but that's about it. And I think that's only to make the transgressions that happen later all the more like it's a woman in the fridge situation.
Yeah.
She's
He's-
sweet, she's everything he needs, and then she's killed.
He's got 3 points.
So he
anyways,
hits, yeah.
so
Yeah.
he doesn't need it.
How about Master? What's it?
Tan.
Tan. No, okay.
Yeah.
I am. That's why I just didn't use the names to this whole thing.
Smug as fuck per usual, as everybody is in this movie.
Yeah.
Manipulation.
Yeah, I would say
Yeah.
so. The whole concubine situation is
Yeah.
pretty manipulative. He's
Yeah.
definitely just using that
Well,
one.
he hires an
under the
assassin.
skin of his rival. Oh, that's well. He does hire an assassin, but because he thinks that guy has his sister, fair enough.
Is that why? Okay, you might be right.
Yeah, that was
I
after
don't
his
remember the
sister
Yeah,
was
but he
taken.
could easily just beat him up himself.
That's the thing is
Good,
like
yeah. Yeah.
all this is about
Got a
them like, oh, I'm a
reputation.
stronger guy than you are. No, I'm a stronger guy. So I mean, just
Yeah.
fight. Just fight. You already
Pathetic.
do it anyway. Fight to the death if that's how you feel.
Well, actually, to be fair, the assassin does say, "I'm not here to kill you. I'm here to fuck up your face." So that
Oh,
is
that-
manipulative because he just wants to hurt his social status even more. God
That
damn.
seems like he would have been hired by from whatever, like the killer then, because he's the one who
Maybe.
has.
I know, but I
It's an eye
guess
for an eye
I
for
guess your
him. It's
face
very
is
strange.
really important in China.
I guess,
so,
yeah, you can't
Not
have a
in
cut on your
America.
face.
We don't need
I have-
faces.
I have hired an assassin to fuck up your face because I
Tell it to
assume that
fucking
will ruin
Omar
your
Little,
life.
motherfucker.
Damn, Omar coming.
Oh, R.I.P. Pour one out.
Yeah, pouring out
Yeah,
for your
pour
boy.
one out.
He's gonna hit it. He's got it. He's a cooter.
Yeah, I think he actually
I think
gets
we-
probably higher
Sergeant
than
Boone, book him.
But
Sorry.
lock him up.
Come in here, Sergeant Poon.
I think
This
we
is the
got
ending this movie could have ended. Could have used right here.
a triple threat cooter on this
Oh
week.
yeah. Oh
Hell yeah. Well done.
Probably even the assassin. We probably could have locked him
Yeah,
up
who
too,
knows?
but
Yeah,
we'll move
probably.
on.
Let's move on.
Probably, yeah. Probably every single man except for Mr. Poon.
Thank you.
We got him. We got him locked up there, boys. Let's go ahead and kick our feet up, let our hair down, and talk about what we've been watching this week.
Hey gang, what you been watching?
Matt, what you been watching?
I just restarted Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Hell yeah.
When I watched it up to season 4 some years ago because there was only 4 seasons out when I watched it the first time. But Andre Broder
Oh yeah.
passed away recently,
Mm.
and then we had just covered The Mist with him in it.
Yeah.
So, like, he was fresh in my brain, and like 2 days later he had passed away. So made me want to jump back in there. You know, Jake Peralta is my spirit animal, and the show's amazing. If you haven't watched it, it is the best form of comedy you can see in a sitcom. I also
Praise.
It's a good
it's really
show.
good.
It
It's
is.
really good. I watched Reptile on Netflix.
How's that?
It's a murder mystery and it's really good. Benicio, how do you say it? I'm not Spanish. Del Toro.
Del Toro,
Yeah.
Benicio.
Yeah, the-
Oh, Benicio.
Yeah, Mexican Brad Pitt. He,
Oh, okay,
he
yeah.
is in it. He is very hot.
Oh.
He is married to Alicia Silverstone. She is very hot.
Oh,
so
so she's been doing a lot.
She
lately.
did that
Boy.
Perpetrator movie
Oh,
this
yeah,
past year.
I was like, oh yeah, I had a crush on this woman for like 10 years when I was a teenager.
Batgirl.
Yeah, there she
Yeah.
is.
Her most famous role.
Batgirl.
Ah,
Yeah, it's-
her most
it's like-
infamous role.
Justin Timberlake's in it, and he plays like just like a fucking milksop. Like it's one of those people that like doesn't sell houses, but like he gets them ready to be sold. I don't know, like
Yeah.
he's some kind of
Staging?
flipper. Yeah, and like I didn't expect him to play that kind of role ever because you know he's usually bringing sexy back.
Yeah, is he
Was it-
sexy in the movie?
I mean, no, he's kind of frumpy.
All right.
He's got a Ned Flanders thing going.
Well,
on.
I'm not gonna watch now.
Oh, okay, well,
Yeah.
but Alicia Silverstone's in it, so you
Okay,
should.
well I'll watch.
And then just like
Possibly.
this weekend, me and my wife went to an Edgar Allan Poe speakeasy,
Yeah.
and it was a bunch of one-man plays with a cocktail
Alright.
for each play. It was so fucking good.
Cool.
They did a Telltale Heart, uh, the Black Cat,
Mhm.
the Raven, and then they did Mask of the Red Death.
Nice.
And then one of the cocktails they called the Cat's Meow, which was just a White Russian, and it was my favorite. I could have drunk those all night and had my wife drive home, but they only gave me one.
Rude.
Oh,
Was Mike Flanagan there? Did he produce it?
I think he was in the back, yeah.
Slamming as many as he could.
But yeah, that's what I've been up to.
Nice.
Yeah, so I would definitely check out Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Reptile on Netflix.
Cool.
Actually, Reptile, I'm glad you reminded me about that because it was on some lists I saw of like good movies from that like recently came out, and I was like, oh, maybe I should check that out.
It's got a good atmosphere.
Cool.
Nice. Awesome. Juice, what you been watching?
I have finally started to do something I've meant to do for a long time. I've been meaning to watch these films, but I started watching the Studio Ghibli films.
cool.
I started with Spirited Away, which now that I've kind of watched some more, probably I maybe shouldn't have started with that one, but still. So, okay, so the thing about all these films is I've loved them all. And the thing that is great is I love them all for completely different reasons, except for the fact that they're all gorgeous. They all just
Mhm.
look amazing, sometimes in different ways sometimes, but they all just look amazing. So Spirited Away, that was like fucking fantastic, an experience. It was the first movie I watched this year. Then I watched Kiki's Delivery Service. That was the most fucking pleasant goddamn movie. That is kind of like my Great British Bake Off. Just inject
Makes
me
sense.
with pure joy, the design of the little town and the little music that they use, and she lives above a bakery. It's just so pleasant. So fucking pleasant. Love that one. Then I went to Grave of the Fireflies.
Ooh.
Oh, no.
rough
You hadn't seen
follow-up.
that?
Right after Kiki's.
Did you not see that with us? We did that at a guy's night at Resident
No.
Serial Killer Drew's request.
No, I did not
I
watch
feel
that
like I
one.
should give you a hug, man.
Dude, then I watched that one, and damn, that's the
That's
one.
a cataclysmic fall.
That is the one that I feel like I rated it just as high. I think it's just as amazing, but I never want to watch it again. But yes, fantastic, but so damn sad. Then sandwiched in between those, then I watched My Neighbor Totoro, which again, very pleasant, very cute. I liked it for different reasons than the Kiki's Delivery Service, but same kind of vibes. I thought that was a really good, just like childhood type of film. So yeah, I like that one. It was very kind of magical. I liked it. And then the last one that I watched was Princess Mononoke.
Mononoke,
Yeah. Which was fucking cool because people are getting their head decapitated. And I like that one. So I watched all these other ones, and even Spirit Away, it's like, oh, it's got some, some wild shit, some weird shit going on. But, everything's pretty like cutesy. I agree with Firefly, super depressing. But then people are just getting their head shot off and drinking wolf's blood. And there's some chicks with their yabos almost popping all the time and everything. I was like, whoa, just total swerve for me. Also just really badass though. Those movies, hot take here, are really good, really amazing. And I'm glad I'm actually getting able to like experience them.
The switchboard's lighting up. People aren't happy about this one. Oh God.
Hot take. These movies are fantastic. But no, yeah. So that's those are the ones I've watched. I do plan on. There's like several, but a lot. But yeah, I'll keep watching a few more to kick the year off. So yeah, that's what I've been
I really
watching.
want to see that boy in his hair, and I've heard.
Yeah, me
great
too. I didn't
things
want to
about
go
it.
in. I wouldn't want to go in with that one being one of my first ones though, since I hadn't experienced all of the classics. So yeah, now I feel like more prepared, certainly.
Yeah,
but,
for sure.
Gotta see that boy's herring.
Bob,
Oh, hey.
God damn.
what you been watching, my guy?
A couple things. Started off the new year with some food poisoning, so I was stuck on the couch for a while.
Bob.
Watching
and-
porcelain.
Yeah, for real. I had managed to binge the first season of True Detective. The fourth season starts, I think, next week.
Yeah.
So I kind of had a taste of that. And
That's so good.
I don't think I'd seen it since it first came out, but it holds up quite well.
So good. I did a mini cast, I think, last year, and it was such a fun rewatch.
Yeah.
You guys remember when I dressed as the Yellow King for Halloween?
Vaguely. Yeah. No,
I-
I
that
do
shit
remember
ruled.
the
I did.
I just wore all yellow and wore a crown from Burger King. It was
Oh, shit.
Everyone got it.
That's
Everyone
such a
got it.
great idea, honestly. Yeah, it's super bleak show, but if you're into police procedural type stuff with like really fantastic fucking acting and actors, watch True Detective. Seasons 1 and 3 I like quite a bit. 2 I struggle with. 4 looks like it's going to take place in Alaska, and the trailers look pretty great. So I'm looking forward to seeing that here very soon.
Yeah. It's got old Clarice in it.
Clarice.
Yeah, I
Jody.
when I heard she was in it and it was True Detective, I was like, I don't even need to see a trailer. I'm
Yeah.
signed up.
Yeah.
They
I'm
got me.
excited.
For
I'm
real.
excited for it.
That third
I'll-
season brought it back, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, it did.
Thank God.
Third season's fucking great. I also revisited The Thing, the 80s thing. And yeah, it also still holds up
Wow.
for anybody that was worried about The
We got some
Thing.
hot
Oh my
takes
god,
tonight
the
on
switchboard.
our-
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Sweet.
That was like oddly a comfort watch because I felt like shit, and I'm just gonna put on a banger. I just need a fucking all-timer real
Need a
quick.
win.
So yeah, I just gotta win right now.
Your
Just gotta
boy
watch
needs
this
a
guy get his
win.
arms bit off.
So it was great. It was great.
Thank God. Phew.
It was actually kind of cold when I watched it. It wasn't cold today, but it was a little cold today. I
Yeah,
don't
a
know.
little chilly.
Fucking Florida
Still ain't
winter.
overcast.
Chilly, yeah. That's all. That's about it for me. Ray and Beezy, what you been watching?
Yeah, not too much, but a few things that I'm very happy to have seen. I'm going to start with the least exciting, but still kind of fun and cute in that same Kiki's Delivery Service sort of way. I watched all 4 15-minute episodes of Pokemon Concierge on Netflix,
There you go.
which is like it's like a stop motion animated not even move, like it's like 15-minute episodes, like I said, and there's only 4 of them. I don't know if there's going to be more or not, but everything is like really cutesy and stuff, and like it's this story of this girl who becomes a concierge for Pokemon on a tropical island. So the aesthetics are just beautiful. The music is incredible in it. And it's just a lot of fun. It's very, very adorable. Now on to serious business. I also finally got my ass in gear and have started watching Fargo in earnest. And I
There you
started
go.
with season 5. I'm 3
You
episodes
started
in.
with
I
season 5?
Started with
They're-
season 5.
they're
'Cause I
all
want to be part of the
separate.
combo,
Okay,
and I know there's a
okay.
couple more still coming. They're all separate. They're all individual like stories within the season.
Okay.
So I was assured that wasn't an issue, and it doesn't seem to be. Man, I have in the past watched episode 1, season 1, and what I'm struck with is how much the at least those 2 setups for these seasons are just like retellings of Fargo the movie, but like in sort of like bizarre twisted differences that just like I'm assuming ramp off into totally different directions is how it goes.
Yep.
I thought the first episode was an outlier where it's like, okay, well, they're going to put it as close to the movie as possible to make sure people understand the connection, whatever, and then they'll go do other stuff. But apparently, I guess is that something they do every season? Is they have some sort of tie-in with the movie in some way?
Not really. No. I mean,
Oh, it's not. Okay.
It's very similar in like tone and like general idea, but it's not like connected like in its DNA to the movie.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. After what I've seen, John Hamm plays a bastard better than anybody on this earth. I'm sure of that.
That's what
And,
Bob was selling.
Juno Temple is like way
Mhm.
more capable than I gave her credit for. I don't know. She's never like super impressed me as an actress, and she's doing a pretty bang up job so far. And fucking Jennifer Jason Leigh is a fucking treasure. I'm so excited to see what her character does. Yeah, it's all shaping up really great. I'm glad I finally hopped on the train. And then the last thing I'm going to mention, besides this, I've been playing a little Super Mario Brothers Wonder, a little Tetris Effect, which I mentioned last week. But really the thing that's been occupying my mind is Fargo, and then The Iron Claw, which I watched this past week.
Whoa.
The Von Erichs biopic. For those who don't know, it's a professional wrestling family from the early to mid 80s. Well, prime time in the early to late 80s, I think. Basically the start of the WCW. For those who are into wrestling at all at any time in its heyday, and its 90s heyday anyway, this is a very fucking sad movie. It's sad because reality. I know exactly. Like there's no happy wrestling movies to be had.
So.
Really.
Not that I know about.
I don't know of very many. There's some like They Live where you get cool wrestlers doing fun and ridiculous things, but not a whole lot of. The wrestling industry itself is just full of sad stories, I guess, is what we're learning from this. What I'm learning from this, and this one is no exception.
It seems like the happiest industry.
No, I mean, there's just a lot going on there, man. I don't know what to say about it, but
I went down a rabbit hole of
era.
researching Grandmaster Sexay this week, and it didn't end well. It didn't end well.
Who could have thought?
I know.
But the acting in this, Zac Efron. I'm gonna say something I never in my life thought I would have to say, and that is that this movie hangs on him, man. It hangs on him like real hard. He does a great job in this movie. It gets a little overly schmaltzy towards the end, I think, in a few aspects that I don't want to go into without spoiling things. But there's a few scenes where I'm like, maybe that's a little much. But ultimately, it's just a very it's an honorable retelling of this family story. I don't know a whole lot about the family outside of the movie. Hopefully they're not, they don't have horrible things of their own outside of just like horrible happenstances and things that happen to them quite a bit, or some bad decisions and stuff like that. Bill Tench from Mindhunter, that actor, I can't remember his name, but he plays their dad, and he is a world-class bastard, but you still kind of like him. That actor's incredible. I love him. Anyway, I'm going to stop gushing. Go check out The Iron Claw. It's a fucking great movie. That's all I got.
Built like a brick shithouse.
Man, there are so many apparently baller movies that just dropped at the end of the fucking year.
Yeah,
dude, the writer's strike,
that,
man.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
like every year, because like they're trying to squeeze them in for the Oscars.
I guess so, but it just seems like, I mean, when you want to get into list of like best of the year and stuff, it seems like you really missed the boat on a lot of those.
Yeah, well,
yeah,
maybe we'll talk about one next week.
Whoa,
maybe.
We don't have any other voicemails this week, but if you are listening, would like to call in.
I guess no one loves us. I guess no one cares about straight chilling anymore. Taking the mom approach.
Oh man, it wouldn't hurt to call.
I mean, I guess
I'm just disappointed.
Just leave us over here alone.
If you cared, you would.
Oh, don't worry about me. We can take care of ourselves. We don't need any help from anybody. We're all good,
We're not lonely or anything over here.
But if you did want to call, you could at 904-638-3231. Leave a voicemail for next week. Any prompts you guys want to throw out? How's your New Year's? You blow your dick off? Fireworks?
I kind of want to know people's feelings about Kung Fu in general, Kung Fu movies, I mean.
Yeah, I am really
what's the
intrigued by
crossover?
the kind of subculture of people who love Kung Fu movies, kind of in the United States, like what sparked that love? Where did it come from? What was your introduction to it? And so, because it's something I just didn't experience at all. But I know, even watching, like shows like the Boondocks and stuff, where it's heavily interwoven into it, and it just seems like this cultural thing that I'm just not tapped into at all. So yeah, calling about that.
Yeah, Jingle All the Way. Little kid's getting his brown belt,
Well,
what the fuck are you talking about?
It's just embedded in the culture, okay? That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Those are my cookies.
Call in 904-638-3231. We're gonna be back next week with a brand new show, talking about a new movie. We're gonna be tackling Poor Things in theaters now.
Poor little thing.
I'm gonna go see that with Matt. I heard I gotta hide my boner for that one.
Yeah,
you just let that beautiful thing fly there.
Wear your elastic shorts, Juice.
Don't judge me, Matt, but I'm raging. I'm raging.
I can feel my heartbeat.
Oh no, he's speaking Chinese.
Oh no! Oh no! Check out Poor Things in theaters now. Get ready for next week's show. Until then, you can find us on all the social media outlets, et cetera, et cetera. You know, just search Straight Chilling Podcast. If you want to join us on our Slack channel, hit us up on one of those social media outlets and let us know, and I'll send you a link so you can join in on the fun. Matt, thank you. Speaking of joining in on the fun, thank you for sitting in with us this
Man.
week again.
I'll be here anytime you invite me.
Ooh.
Fuck yeah.
Any-
On or off the air, yeah.
Oh.
We're looking for
Matt, yeah, it's
concubines
just been
around here.
about not even 2 months that you were here.
Yeah.
That's right.
Quick.
It was a year ago.
We are trying to get more concubines
It was
on our
last year,
show, so
yeah.
if you want to be it, there's a
Uh,
slot for you.
you want to tell everybody about your stuff one more time?
Yeah, my podcast is Swords and Stereo. We talk about historical fencing. And my school here in Jacksonville is Bold City Longsword. If you're in Jacksonville, come on by. I'll let you swing a sword-like object.
Awesome.
Fuck yeah.
Do it. Learn how to kill folks. Until next week, as always, all you mother truckers, please keep chilling. Boom.
And we're still recording. And
Wake
we
me
are-
up before you go.